JuJu Watkins will take her best shot at Caitlin Clark's all-time scoring record. All you have to do is look at JuJu Watkins' #1 standing in our WAR metric to see her ranking among women's basketball players this season. Her building legacy, however, is being measured in all-time ways, and that includes pursuit of Caitlin Clark's NCAA scoring record. JuJu Watkins dropped in 28 points in USC's win over Michigan State Wednesday night, and you almost come away disappointed it wasn't more. That kind of high expectation underscores an ability that one day may push the sophomore guard past Caitlin Clark as the NCAA's all-time leading scorer for both men's and women's college basketball. You remember, this time last year, it felt as though Clark was setting an offensive record with every Iowa game, ultimately finishing her final season with 3,951 career points. More importantly, she transformed the popularity of women's basketball to a higher level. JuJu's already got next. In truth, Clark's lofty point total is still far off for Watkins, who's at 1,552 career points. But Watkins has been so spectacular in her first 2 seasons that basketball fans everywhere ask with each USC game, how many did JuJu score? With her playing style smooth, consistent, seemingly effortless, we can't take our eyes off JuJu Skies Watkins. Having stayed at home to play collegiately in Los Angeles, it's a natural for the 19-year-old National Player of the Year candidate to list LeBron James, once a prodigy himself, and now the NBA's all-time leading scorer across town with the Lakers, as her biggest sports hero. Watkins, who scored 30 or more points in 5 of her first 7 career games, and Clark were both spectacular from the start. Like Watkins last season, Clark was an All-American in her first season in 2020-21, but UConn's Paige Bueckers was even more sensational, becoming the only freshman in women's basketball history to claim National Player of the Year. Point-wise, the early comparison favors Watkins over Clark. Watkins scored 920 points, 27.1 per game, in the 2023-24 campaign, a freshman record in Division I men's and women's basketball, and a great start over Clark's 799 points, or the 5th most by a D1 frosh. As a sophomore, Clark finished with 863 points on a 27.0 per game average. Watkins has 632 points through USC's first 26 games, averaging 24.3 per game. Clark scored 705 points through 26 of Iowa's 32-game season in 2021-22. USC, 24-2 and ranked 6th in Tracker, has 2 remaining regular season games, plus the upcoming Big Ten and NCAA tourneys as a national championship contender, so with, say, 35 or more games this season, Watkins could surpass Clark's sophomore point total. But here's the obstacle ahead. While Watkins may outscore Clark in each of their first 2 seasons, Watkins is going to have to rise from her 25.9 point average across the 2 seasons to more like a 30-point level in her final 2 seasons, because that's how otherworldly Clark was during the second half of her Iowa career. Clark's points rose ridiculously behind 3-point shooting. Her 1,234 points as a senior and 1,055 as a junior rank 1st and 5th, respectively, in a D1 season, fueled by 341 threes over those 2 seasons, or 50 more than any other player's 2-season total in D1 history. No disrespect to Watkins' 122 threes in 60 career games, but Clark's 4.4 per game in those 2 final seasons more than doubled JuJu's career average. Notably, their playing styles are both similar and different. Watkins will run the point, like Clark, but she's 6'2", both quick and physical, so she often overmatches defenders and will power to the basket, from the initial set or while coming from off the ball. She's so skilled at scoring 2-point baskets, which isn't a bad thing. There's no apparent need to start hoisting more 3-pointers to close that gap on Clark. Iowa reached, but lost in, the national championship game in both of Clark's final 2 seasons, playing 77 overall games compared to 62 in her first 2 seasons. The 20% increase contributed to Clark tracking down Pistol Pete Maravich as the NCAA's all-time leading scorer. She wasn't nearly on that pace through 2 seasons. Similarly, USC figures to be in the national title mix for the remainder of Watkins' career, so a high number of games should be there. Staying healthy is pivotal as well. Watkins has missed only one game in her 2 seasons. Clark never missed any. Just last Thursday night, Watkins had her signature all-around game, including 38 points, when USC handed them won UCLA its first loss. Her 28 against Michigan State less than a week later was anything but pedestrian, her 6th highest total of the season. But JuJu Watkins has been so good, so quickly in 2 seasons that when basketball fans ask how many points she scored, they're hoping for more and more every time.